All right. Hi, Matt. Again with the shopping cart. I am coming across a situation where accidental taps on products results in them being added to the cart. Even when you cancel the entry, you still end up with a product in the list. Sure, you can remove it afterwards, but it would be fantastic that when you cancel the input, the item is not added to the list. The reason this is happening the way that it is because of how the input function actually works. So input is actually still inside beta right now. It's actually not an actual thing that they've released for general use. That's why I largely don't use it inside any of my apps, because sometimes it just doesn't work. So right now you can't use input when you're creating an item. Now I tried this. It's actually in the sample app already. So this is the action right here that creates the item, it adds the thing to adds the product to your order. And if you look inside here, right, so we set the order link to the building order. We set the customer product to whatever product you clicked on, the record you actually clicked on. And then I have this order quantity detail where I do have an input formula already there. The thing is that input doesn't work when you're creating a record. That is something that is a future installment of input that they will eventually get. They want to get the first part, whereas like you already got a record, we're using it to modify the value that's there. So that's part one. So it eventually, when they get that expansion put in, like this thing will do that, and then you'll actually get like two quantity pop-ups, and you'll have to go through and remove one of them. But so the reason the item is added to your order is because, and then you're asked for the quantity, is because of that, right? Because we can't ask you for the quantity when we're making the record. We have to first make the record, then do the quantity thing. And the way that we did the quantity thing, you'll recall, if we go back to your order and we look, there's this list down here of all of the related order details, and then I've got this last order detail item. And you can see it's an index, and what's happening there is I'm literally pulling out the last item out of this related order detail list back here. I'm saying take all of these items, count them, and give me whatever the number is for how many there are, the last one in the list. So we're holding that as like a global variable now, right? Because I'm holding my order as a global variable in that building slice, which means all of these columns are now essentially a global variable. So I have the last item that you added to the order as a global variable in the system. And so that's what gives me the ability to where after you add it, then I can say, cool, for the thing you just added, do this ref set quantity input. So if you look here, right? So the thing we're doing is from the products on the order details on the building orders last order detail item. We're literally calling whatever that is as the global variable, and then we're saying execute this set quantity action on that. That's why you get this thing after the fact, and you can't do it all in one shot. It's because input's not there yet. Eventually it'll get there, and it'll be super smooth. The thing you got to do now to smooth this out, right? So like I get what he's saying, like I tap product 6 and then I hit cancel. I'd like product 6 to go away. But if I look back here, it's on there already. So what do I have to do in order to make that work? Okay, well, there's a little fiddly things that you got to do, but like surprisingly really easy for you to get this done. The thing you got to do is it's the same mechanism that we use to execute that input. We have an action that we're executing on that last order item that we're saying, okay, get the quantity for that, right? Okay, that action, this guy right here, ref set quantity item from product. This thing, right? This mechanism is the very same thing that you would use to delete this record, right? Because we're saying on that record, do this action. So instead of setting the quantity, I can just run the delete action on that thing. But I need that to be smart, and I need it to know when that last quantity doesn't have anything inside it. You know what I mean? So the way that I could do this, whole bunch of different ways you could do this. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to use a lookup. I don't do lookup very often. Sometimes I do. Lookup actually processes super fast, surprisingly. So what do? Okay, so I'm going to copy this action, and then I'm going to change the name. So this is going to be ref delete no item quantity. I'm gonna leave it like that. And so now, same setup. The only thing that I'm going to change is the action that I'm doing. I'm going to delete the thing. So then now I come down here, and so the thing I need to do is I need to adjust this formula, because what I'm planning on is I'm going to take this action that I'm building and I'm going to put it inside this tap action. So the way that this product thing works is when you tap on the product, it executes this stack of actions, and based on whatever's happening inside the order, whether it's building or not, like if there is a building order, some of them execute. Whether or not the thing you tapped on is already inside the order, a different thing happens. So what I need to do is just throw something inside that says, is the last item's quantity empty? If it is, run this delete action on it. Now the delete will ask you, do you want to delete this? So if I go back to my action, this ref delete guy, yep. Okay, go into the formula. So what we're really trying to say is, let me go and get a formula from, here. So what we're really trying to say is like this thing, if this item's quantity is empty. Okay, so how can I get that value? So if I go back to the formula space, so if I just drop that in there, that gives me some of the bits that I need in order to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a lookup. I'm going to say look up this row dot oh no, I can't do this row. No, look up this, but I can't just throw this up there by itself. I have to pull the item out of it because that's a list, and technically we need a single value. So this is where index comes into play. Index, building orders, order item detail, give me the first item out of that. Okay, so that is the item ID that I want to look up, right? Okay, that lives inside the order details. See, this is where the app sheet training thing comes in handy, because I can come over here, I can put my, let's see, I want to format this way. I can put my cursor where I need to go, and like I need to drop the name of the order detail table, just like that. And then in the order details, so where am I going to find this? This is going to be in the ID column, so it's this one. And what do I want? I want the quantity column. And if I close this, that should be to number. It's not a yes, no. Okay, so this lookup formula gets me the number that I need in order to accomplish everything that I'm trying to do. And now I've got to turn this into a yes, no. What do I want to know? Is it blank? So is blank lookup, blah, 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 all of that stuff. So is this lookup blank? If this comes to true, then that means that the last record for the building order doesn't have a quantity. Okay, if that's true, then I want to execute this delete action on the order detail. Now I want this to happen after I set the ref quantity, because like the idea would be, so I tap a product, if there's already a thing there, the duplicate kicks off and we skip this one. If there's not a duplicate, this one kicks off, then this kicks off, then this kicks off. Okay, so I'm not sure if when you hit cancel on this quantity, if that's going to continue that stack or if it's going to stop the stack right there. Let's see. So the idea should be when I tap on product 10, it should add it. It should ask me the quantity. And then when I hit cancel, it should ask me if I want to delete it. Don't you like it when things work? Don't you like it when things work? Oh, man. Oh, that makes me so happy. Yeah, that was, to be honest with you, like I sat down and I thought about the theory about what I was doing, and I'm like, I think I know how to do it. Yeah, I'll do it this way. That'll work, sure. But I never tested it. I was like, oh, I'm just debug it through the thing. Totally worked. Oh, well, I want to go through and play with it all. I'll tell you now. Like, okay, nope. You sure you want to get rid of that? And so, like, now this gives you the option to where if you don't want to delete it, I can say, no, leave it there. Leave it there. Because then, like, I can come back here and I can say, I want to do 3. Or I can delete it. Did you know that you can drag these items left and right? Like, I'm not sure if people were aware that this view down here is not a table. It's a deck. And the reason I use a deck is because I like to have this swipe right to edit. Like, I really like that. Like, I've been doing that in a whole bunch of my apps, a whole bunch of things that are smaller tables where, like, I don't need the whole table, where I need, like, a whole bunch of columns. If it's just a couple of things, like, I'll make it a deck like this, because then I can get this swipe right to edit. And it's super, super awesome. Then you also get the swipe left for something. So swipe left to delete. Booyah! But anyways, that is how you can set up your tap stack action so that if there is no quantity inside the thing that somebody just added, you can conditionally remove that item. There's one last thing we need to do for this. One last little thing before I call this done. The ref delete thing, this technically is not good enough. That is not good enough. What I need it to do is I only need that to run. So if I go into these and I look at the original actions, yeah, they have this and statement where they're saying and is not blank building order ID. So, like, if there is a building order, this thing should run. I need to include that too into my new action. We go here, and we go here, and we just drop that. So all of these, if I do this, make it a little neater, make it a little cleaner, line everything up. So if there is a building order and then the last order item is blank. See, if I just left that by itself, that would have caused problems, because if you think about it, if there is no building order, then there is no building order item. So when it tries to look that up, it will find nothing. It will always result in a blank, in which case that thing would always be firing off. That's a problem. Like, you can't have that. This is usually, like, that's one of the things that, like, you'll find as you work on AppSheet apps over time. You'll find that there's a lot of other scenarios that you're not really thinking about. Like, one of the most common things that people have is like, okay, I want to update the parent from a child. Like, when I create the child record, update the parent or whatever, right? Okay, well then what happens when you delete the child? Did you make the thing for that scenario? Probably not. Most people don't, because that's like backwards programming. Most people are only programming forward. I'm stuck. I fall into this problem all the time. Like, something will be deleted and I'll be like, oh shit, I didn't do backwards stuff. Oh man, now I gotta do all this work. So just something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind. That is what I got for all of that fun stuff. That is everything for the Patreon questions. I will make this shopping cart version 6. How far are we going to go with this thing? I already have another one that I got to do too. So yeah, who knows? We get to like version 36. That'd be kind of fun.